Like, the truth is, a mediocre product and the best product in this day and age, they're very close. What up, quarantine people? I wanted to just start this because I am trying this thing where I just start talking about things when I am feeling them. I was like, why not just film a vlog instead of sleeping? I was thinking about how I had tried to be a minimalist, I would say, like for the past like 5 years probably. But the way that I lived my life, I was like a shopaholic. Like, I just like loved browsing websites. And I was one of those people that would spend like hundreds of dollars on buying things from overseas, knowing that you can't return them, but they're just cheap enough that you're like, even if one thing works out, then it'll be worth it. But then like none of them ever work out. But that whole process, like I would spend so much time on that. I really, really liked the idea of minimalism. I didn't like buy things where it kind of added to clutter, but I would shop a lot. And I was very anti-clutter, so pretty much every 3 months, I would do a gigantic like giveaway haul, and I would pretty much cut my closet in half every 3 months, which just kind of goes to show actually how much I was buying. And that's just kind of this like throwaway culture, the fast fashion movement. And it's just, yeah, I was very, very into that. I tried to get things from thrift stores, but it wasn't like a huge thing for me. A lot of the styles that I tended to gravitate towards were Asian styles, which was just kind of like this torturous thing because, first of all, they're really hard to get. Second of all, they're always fast fashion, pretty much. And third of all, they are always too small for me because I am 5'8". I really enjoyed fashion, so I just kind of kept on trying to be minimal. I kept on just like literally cutting my closet in half every few months. I would go through my closet. It was really fun for me to cleanse, to like get rid of stuff. The idea of being minimalist and trying to have as few things as possible, I wasn't really getting any of the benefits of doing that, other than just not having a lot of clutter, which is great, I guess. But I was still consuming a lot. I was buying a lot of things that were just like kind of meaningless. And I noticed because about a year ago, I did a very large overhaul of my life, and I moved back home with my dad for a little while, and I basically got rid of as much as I possibly could just because I knew that I needed to be moving around. I didn't know where I was going to be next, so I really super minimalized. Like I actually when I moved, I hired movers just because I didn't want to deal with it, and they got the entire thing, like the entire move, done in 20 minutes of work. So anyways, I had barely any stuff, and it kind of shows if you look back there. Since doing that, other than the furniture that I needed to buy because I didn't actually own any furniture, I really have not bought anything since that time for about a year now. Except for like very, very essential things. This is pretty much all I have, and then the chair that I'm sitting in. And then I've got my desk, and then I splurged, and I basically got the minimal upgrades for my PC so that I could do video editing on it and possibly streaming, because at the time I was like, that's what I wanted to do at the time, and I can do gaming on it. So it's just, I spent like $600 upgrading my previous PC, which was like 10 years old, and it's like amazing. I love it so much, and honestly, it's literally the best purchase that I've ever made in the past like 5 years. And then I also bought a VR headset. I was before kind of spending a lot of little purchases. I was just kind of doing a lot of things. I didn't even mention my like addiction to vitamins and like weird, just random little nutrition things that I read about would like give me energy or something. I was just obsessed with like trying every single ad that comes up on Instagram, a lot of random skincare stuff. So the difference now is I think about something that I really want that would improve my life a lot, and I go ahead and I kind of splurge. Like my computer has changed my life, and I just don't shop anymore. And I mean, maybe that shows because obviously, like almost all my vlogs, I'm wearing pretty much the same thing, but it is quarantine. So that has obviously affected my bank account well. But more than anything, it's affected like my life. Like I didn't realize how much time I spent shopping. Like, to me, the way that I was approaching shopping for fashion was like, I was like, when I'm drawing, I was thinking of it very creatively, you know, like I would make Pinterest boards. I was like, I'm hitting on, this is exactly my style. And I would find pieces and I would try to coordinate them. And I would think about how that would make outfits. Like, I was being very creative with it, which is cool. But because of that, it was taking a lot of time away from my artwork, which is the creative medium that I personally want to invest my time in. So I like cutting that out of my life, and I still am very into fashion. But I do recognize now that I never am like, there's nothing to wear, because I have at least one outfit that I'm like, that's my go-to outfit. And I just decided one day that like, I'm just gonna wear that outfit all the time. I think we all have like our favorite outfit that we just feel like a total rock star when you're wearing it. And I was just like, why wouldn't I just wear that all the time? And I'm not in the like, I don't know, Steve Jobs way. But yeah, it's just something that like, I don't think that people really would notice that much. And wearing all black is another trick to make it very easy. But when I do invest in a like new piece of clothing, it has to be super, super meaningful to me. Like, I can get away with what I have probably forever. That's what I'm saying. And I'm very aware of that. So when I'm thinking about buying something new, I think the minimalist way of thinking about it would be like, well, how versatile is this piece? Will it go out of trend? Or like, is it going to last, you know? So those are things to keep in mind, but I feel personally that because all my staples are pretty much covered at this point, I'm looking more for pieces that I'm like, would this be my new favorite outfit? Like, it should be like something that I love so, so much that I want to like make it a part of my life. And I think that that's just not how I was thinking of it before. I was more like, oh, this would go with so many things that I have. But now that I'm kind of like okay with wearing about the same thing every day, I'm more like, well, is this going to add to that one outfit? Would I wear this every day? And if I wouldn't like replace this simple hoodie with it for at least a while, then I won't buy it. Like, there's just like, there's no reason to. In order to be like that, you really do have to get over the stigma that we're supposed to like wear different things every day, which some people are just like, they would think it was weird to see someone in the same outfit like twice, you know? But for me, I don't really care about that. I would much rather be super, super confident in what I'm wearing. Basically, just thinking about things that I really, really want to make an absolute staple in my life. And if it's not something that I'm going to consider basically like a full part of my like personality and brand, I won't buy it. Like, if that's not my thing, like that, if I was like a cartoon character, you know, they wear the same thing every day. Like, if that wouldn't go on my character design, then it's not for me. And that's saved me a lot of time and thinking. Like, there's no store out there that I would buy multiple things from. There just isn't. And obviously, like, I'm very privileged that like I have all my bases covered, and I have for a while, and it's just kind of recognizing that I've had that. I will only buy it if it is literally flawless, if I want to like wear that for the rest of my life kind of thing. So the point here is basically for me to just kind of brag about how I have a great life where I don't spend any time shopping. I'm just kidding, but like, seriously, maybe you're not like this, but like, I think a lot of us, we fall into this, especially because Amazon has so many reviews and so many things, and the internet has so many things. We can spend hours and hours and hours browsing and trying to kind of like put our creativity to use for this thing that actually isn't benefiting us very much at all. If at all. It's only sucking us dry, and monetarily, and also just with our time and with our energy and with our creativity. Like, I do think that if you're a creative especially, which I think that most of my audience is, then you should be using your creative juice for what you want to be using it for. And if it is fashion, and if that's really important to you, that's awesome. Like for me, fashion is super, super crucial, you guys. Like I'm not saying that I'm not into fashion anymore, but I'm much more interested in, like when I'm looking up fashion, I'm much more interested in using those ideas for my art, and I'm thinking about how I would use that for my art. I'm only looking at this inspiration to get ideas, and I can do whatever I want with them. And it's a lot less stressful and a lot more fun. We have such a finite amount of like brain power and decisions that we can make in a day. And I think this shopping thing, browsing online, shopping for anything, like I used to spend so much time on Amazon just like looking at vitamins, stuff like that, like just reading reviews and trying to figure out, well, is this the right thing for me? And the truth is that amount of time is basically worth more than the product that you are going to end up buying is going to be worth. You really do have to limit yourself and say, you know, make a decision, make the best decision that you think and move on. Obviously, that does require that you know yourself, that you know what you're looking for, and that you buy very infrequently. I just used to be such a shopaholic. Like there was a time in my life when like every single day I would be getting packages, sometimes multiple packages, you know, like it's like getting a present. I was like excited to get packages, and it would feel weird when I didn't get one. And it's so important to break that. It saves you so much, and it gives you so much energy and creative juices, or whatever you want to call it. Like I just feel like overflowing with ideas and stuff, because I'm not tailoring my life or trying to improve my life in really minor ways that really down the line are not going to matter at all, like buying specific vitamins. I'm sorry. I still do take vitamins, but I only take like 3 vitamins now, and I'm okay, you know, like I don't feel like anything is wrong, and I don't think I ever really did. I just was always like, well, how can I feel my best? You know, I want to feel tip top. And the truth is, like, these things are going to make like a 0.05% difference in your life, if that. And the amount of time that most of us spend stressing about these things, it's just not okay. And since I stopped doing that altogether, all my time is spent thinking about creative things. I was a shopaholic for a reason, right? There's a reason that any of us have any kind of holic, and I know a lot about that, obviously, but like there's a reason that we have addictions, and they basically fulfill this need for us that we don't know how to fulfill. For me personally, and I think this is very, very, very common, but for me, it was definitely more that I was using shopping to avoid thinking about like the things that I didn't like about my life and the things that like I was afraid of. Basically, my feelings. I was shopping to avoid dealing with my feelings. And it's a great distraction. Like all of these addictions are amazing distractions. And that's what really, really sucks about them. Like if you're using shopping as a distraction in any way, it's a negative thing, and it's going to continue negatively impacting your life in a ton of ways. Focusing on one thing is kind of what this is all about. Like I spent my money on and my shopping energy on getting this PC that would like help me to be creative, that has made a gigantic impact on my life. And instead of buying a bunch of little things constantly, you know what I mean? I would just spend so much time looking for like new stickers, new like washi tape, like hours and hours and hours just like scrolling through pages looking for something that's me. And now I'm kind of letting things come to me, which they kind of do. I mean, nowadays, especially with all of these algorithms and like the way that AdSense is just like changing the landscape here, the way that our phones are listening to every fucking thing we're saying and then just giving us ads for them. Basically, we end up getting targeted for things that we're probably gonna want anyways. I really don't feel the need to spend hours scrolling through pages and pages and pages and pages to find like one thing that's me. I kind of just like, if it comes to me, it comes to me, you know? That's just me. Really, I guess it's kind of like, God, what is that thing? That sparks joy thing? I can't remember. her name, but it's kind of in line with that, where I really truly will not get something unless it is just like the thing for me, and it gets me so happy. And honestly, I mean, this hoodie even, like, it's something that I probably wouldn't have bought myself. I'm really glad that I got it as a gift, because it's so high quality, and now I wear it all the time, and it is kind of hard to shop for yourself. Like, I was always buying things that were like really interesting conversation pieces, you know? And the thing is, like, I don't end up wearing any of that stuff. I always just end up wearing like the boring things, and I didn't used to buy that many boring things. Every time I would do a closet, like getting rid of everything, I would be giving away a bunch of trendy, like, cute pieces that I just like could not figure out a function for. To really get over shopping, like just shopping all the freaking time and spending your time choosing, you know, I don't know, like the best protein bar. I don't think about things like that anymore, man. Like, I don't even like spend time looking at different brands of the food that I do buy. There's just, I've just started recognizing that there's really not a very huge difference between like the best version of something that you're gonna get and like the medium version of what you're gonna get. Like, when I get home, and if I really don't like something, all right, I won't buy that next time, but like, I pretty much just don't even think twice about it. And part of that also has been quarantine, because you don't even know what's gonna be available there. Like, you pretty much just have to take what you're gonna get. But I spent so much time like reading about vitamins and stuff, like, to give me energy. And the truth was, like, usually to solve your problems, you don't need to buy a thing. Like, let that sink in. When you think that you have a problem and you're trying to solve it by buying a thing, think long and hard about whether or not you can solve that problem by taking an action in your life instead. It's very interesting to look at and think about, wow, was it worth like sitting there scrolling through all of that stuff? I think the first thing to do is to decide what you actually want to do with your time, and recognize that those, like, the things that you actually want to do with your time, the actual time that you spend on those things, is like money. It's like you're basically like earning happiness points, you know? Like, you're actually doing what you want to do, and it's way more valuable than anything else. Like, that's what really matters. Like, even if I was playing video games for like 4 hours, I think that would be time better spent than shopping or looking for deals on stuff, or like learning about products. Like, I honestly think that, because in this day and age, a lot of that work is actually kind of done for us. We, like, especially in America, it's so consumer centric that you basically don't have to work as a consumer anymore. Like, it will get taken care of for you. You will hear about the new if there's a product out there that is like really, really good that we should all actually have, you're going to hear about it, okay? This is another reason that I really hate Kickstarter. Like, I like that it exists, especially as like kind of an entrepreneurial like person. I do really like that it exists, and I like the concept of it. But the truth is that people will invest in ideas now, and ordinary people are actually not that good at like evaluating whether this is really an idea that could work. Even most investors are actually pretty shitty at this. Like, it's probably something that an actual investor, someone who's trained to think about these things and knows like the landscape and knows the questions to ask, would not invest in this. And so they're bringing it to the public to be like, hey, but you guys think this idea is cool, right? And like, it doesn't matter if we think the idea is cool, like, could it actually be done? And most of the time, like, the stuff that I'm seeing on Kickstarter, especially more recently, it's like complete garbage. Like, it's basically just a scam. It's just a complete racket. Like, I haven't, it's been a long time since I saw something that really worked coming out of Kickstarter. And the thing is, if one of these things actually works and they make it and it's great, you will hear about it later, you know? You'll hear about it when people are like, oh my gosh, they did it, and everyone starts having this thing. You know, you'll figure it out. The thing is, like, it's such a waste of your time to even consider buying something untested. I would say that the one exception to this rule is things like art books. People put their art books up there. You know what you're gonna get. It's not like a new invention. That's an awesome use for Kickstarter. I think artists should keep using Kickstarter, and I wish that I saw more stuff like that. Even things like video games, though, I've seen some pretty bad stuff come out of Kickstarter. Like, the thing is, like, there's not really any incentive for them to deliver a decent product once they've gotten all your money. Like, with an investor, they're holding you accountable for making income afterwards, you know? So that's, like, it's really important that they actually deliver. But for Kickstarter, the end client has already paid for the product, and I just see a lot of developers and engineers getting really lazy in the final hours, and they're just kind of like, I think they're like done. They're like, I want to move on to the next thing, and they're just like, let's just ship this. I don't know, man. Like, I've seen so much crap. Just don't ever spend your money on Kickstarter unless that's your passion, is like funding random ass new inventions and seeing if they work. If you're like, what are they called? Early adopters. Like, if that's really fun for you, if that's like what I think of as gaming, like if that's sparks joy, go for it. Spend your money wisely, but spend your time even wiser. That is the main lesson here from me. I love the purchases that I have made in the past year. They've all been super, super meaningful. I have not, like, I love them. Like, every day I'm like in love with my computer. Like, I love it. I love it so much, and it's so perfect. Like, I kind of like wasted this Saturday, but I went to bed and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be so productive tomorrow, you know, like always happens. And I woke up and I was just like, I can tell that I'm not going to be that productive. But I did have some things that I wanted to get done. I wanted to work out. I wanted to shower. And I actually did those things. So I'm not going to give myself a hard time. I think that this was a very productive Saturday. And hey, I'm even like doing a fucking vlog. So really good Saturday. And actually I did this. I like kind of made like this bullet journal page, but this isn't my bullet journal. It's just like me doodling what a bullet journal page could look like. Like, this is the journal that I bought, and I thought a lot about it. This journal I actually made back when I was like doing a bunch of journal things, and it's got, you know, the discs. I don't know, I really like this, and so I'm just kind of like, spending my time on this shit. That's what I did today, and I can't wait to add it to this. So this is Empty. It's my new book. I think this is so cool. It's Sully-Run 1981, sorry. I've never heard of his brand before. They're on Amazon. At first I was like, this is obviously going to be a shit brand because I've never heard of it. And that was terrible of me, because this is the most perfect book I've ever seen. Like, the dots are a little dark for my liking. I usually like them super, super light gray, but I think they're not bad at all. They're not even the worst that I've seen. And the pages are not off-white. They're like white, and I'm obsessed with that. They obviously had my pink, which is super important, but they also have like a marble one, which I, like, 4 years ago me would have gone crazy for that crap, but now I'm like, I don't really care about marble anymore. That is such a like fake minimalism me. Like, I was so obsessed with that like clean marble and black aesthetic, and I was like, that's minimalism. I don't know. I used to post a lot of things. I think there's still on my Instagram, I think, some post where like I had a marble background, and I kind of like, I think I tagged it minimalism, and it was just kind of like, it had like my plants in it and stuff, and someone commented like, I don't think you know what minimalism means. And at the time I was like, why are you even saying that? Like, you don't even know my life. But it's funny because it really is very true that I really didn't know what minimalism meant, and I wouldn't even call myself a minimalist. Oh my god, I'm so tired. I wouldn't call myself a minimalist now, and it's more just like I really, really, really care about what I spend my time on now, and I think that's bigger than even like the money. Like I've been saving a ton, but I really didn't care about that as much. It's great to not have to worry about money, is what I mean. So that's awesome that I was able to do that, and it was definitely, that's part of it. But more than anything for me personally, it's been my time and where I'm putting my attention, and you can't imagine how much time it used to suck up for me. And I can't stress enough that it wasn't just like, oh, well, my time was going to that and I should just not spend my time on that. Like, it was an addiction, man. Like, I felt like I could not stop. Like, I need this, you know? Like, the way that you, like, crave bread or something. I'm really into bread right now. It's kind of a thing. So, yeah. I love you. Bye. Have a good week. Yeah. Have a good week. And I hope that you're all safe and really happy and not sleepy like I am. See ya.